Now at 5 a.m. on WKYT this morning, an officer-involved shooting in Georgetown has left a suspect critically injured. That's according to state police this morning, and we have the latest on the investigation. It's coming up in a live report.
Investigators are trying to figure out what led to a crash that killed someone in Anderson County over the weekend.
And certain parts of the Patriot Act died at midnight this morning after Senate Republicans did not make a deal to extend highly debated anti-terror provisions.
Tracking, alerting, protecting. This is WKYT This Morning.
Good morning to you and welcome in. It is Monday morning, June 1st. I'm Bill Bryant.
And I'm Rebecca Smith. Hope you had a great weekend. I thought it was great. I mean, it seemed to be pretty much for the most part dodged a lot of rain.
For the most part. It was really pretty nice humidity here and there. Cooler showers this morning out there. Let's check in with meteorologist Micah Harris. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, guys. Yeah, we did all right. Most of us actually stayed dry. Some of us picked up some pretty good bouts of rain, especially down toward the southeast yesterday, where you had on and off thunderstorms all day long. There you are with First Alert Defender. Here's the deal. As Bill was talking about with that humidity, the humidity is taking a dive today. We got the rain out and about, and also that cooler air trying to funneling on in, and we'll start to see that rain kind of pick on up. We're in the 50s northbound, 60s southbound. You can see where the front's located. And it looks like as we track through time, we'll be there in the mid to upper 60s. Cool rain today. We'll actually start to see some thunderstorms later on in your work week. I'll show you when you can expect that coming up.
Okay, we'll see you in a bit. Let's get to the news.
We're tracking some developing news out of Scott County this morning. A man was taken to UK hospital after he was shot by police officers in Georgetown.
It happened just after 10 o'clock last night off of Lemons Mill Road near the intersection of Newtown Pike. WKYT's Hillary Thornton is live now at UK Hospital with the latest on the investigation into this. Hillary, what have state troopers told us about the suspect's condition so far?
Good morning, Bill and Rebecca. Kentucky State Police tell us that the 33-year-old Georgetown man is here at University of Kentucky Hospital, where he has been listed in critical condition but is stable this morning. This all started around 10 o'clock last night when Kentucky State Police, the Scott County Sheriff's Office, and Georgetown Police were working to locate the man who they say had an active warrant and is believed to be a burglary suspect. Officers found the suspect after receiving reports that he was camping on the banks of North Elkhorn Creek near the intersection of Lemons Mill and Newtown Pike in Georgetown. Troopers say when they approached the suspect, he showed a handgun, and after officers instructed the 33-year-old to drop the weapon, police say he raised the gun towards them, which is when officers then fired. Now, no officers were injured in this shooting, and Kentucky State Police tell us that charges against the suspect, whose name has not been released at this time, are pending. Live in Lexington, Hillary Thornton, WKYT.
All right, Hillary, thank you. Investigators are still trying to figure out what caused a deadly crash in Anderson County this weekend. The crash happened around 6 o'clock yesterday evening on the Bluegrass Parkway near Lawrenceburg. The local coroner tells us one person died and another was seriously injured. Investigators say the car veered off the road and landed in an embankment behind a guardrail. The coroner says he is waiting to tell the family of the victims before releasing their names.
Kentucky State Police need your help finding a man they want to question about a death in Hardin County. The death happened on Croom Road in Vine Grove yesterday. Troopers are trying to track down 48-year-old Timothy George Cruz. Cruz has an address listed in Rineyville, but he sometimes stays in Vine Grove. Police haven't told us the name of the person who died or what caused their death. A woman is recovering after a crash this weekend in Bath County. The crash happened before 1 o'clock yesterday morning on Kentucky 36. Troopers say 59-year-old Jennifer Reynolds from Jeffersonville was headed west when she drove into a tree. She was taken to St. Joseph Hospital in Mount Sterling. Troopers have not said what caused the crash.
5:04 on WKYT this morning. Key parts of the Patriot Act temporarily expired overnight. As the Senate continues to debate the controversial government surveillance program, Kentucky's Rand Paul and Mitch McConnell are coming down on different sides of the issue over the government's collection of phone records. WKYT's Mark Barber is at our live desk with a look at this debate. Mark, tell us why parts of the bill expired this morning.
Good morning, Bill. Since Senate Republicans couldn't strike a deal to extend the post-911 programs yesterday, they expired at midnight. Kentucky Senator and presidential candidate Rand Paul delayed the vote to extend the Patriot Act. He says the government is using the surveillance program illegally to take away the freedom of Americans. For now, the controversial anti-terror program has gone dark. no longer allowing the National Security Administration to collect phone records from millions of Americans. Senator Mitch McConnell disagrees with Paul. He thinks we shouldn't disarm ourselves rather, as our enemies grow more aggressive. The director of the CIA says the suspension of the controversial program will make it harder for the government to fight terrorism.
The tools that the government has used over the last dozen years to keep this country safe are integral to making sure that we're able to stop terrorists in their tracks.
The Senate will now try to work through several amendments designed to reform parts of the surveillance program. The measure is not expected to reach President Obama's desk until later this week. From the live desk, Mark Barber, WKYT.
All right, Mark, thank you very much. An interesting week ahead on that. And today, the city of Midway could become the 8th city in the state to pass a fairness ordinance. That law would prohibit discrimination in housing, employment, and public accommodations based on race, religion, sexual orientation, or gender identity. The mayor there says this process started in January, and now the measure is ready for a vote. He says the proposal is not new. It would just add more protections under the current city law.
We're not writing a new law, we're simply adding more protections for people under current law. It would give people who currently don't have any recourse, if they do feel like they've been discriminated against, it would give them the ability to have some recourse.
Even if it's passed, there still would be some exceptions. Religious institutions and organizations, in addition to bathrooms, locker rooms, and changing areas, would be exempt.
New overnight, the search for a new superintendent of Fayette County Schools moves forward this week. In a letter sent to our newsroom just before midnight, the school board chair says the superintendent screening committee will begin reviewing applications. In addition, they will meet tomorrow morning and Wednesday afternoon in a closed session. The school board chair also says committee members will begin their individual review of the applications.
Later today, Governor Steve Beshear is expected to give an update on the cleanup of a nuclear waste site in Kentucky. The Maxey Flats facility is in the Hillsborough community of Fleming County. It was used between 1963 and 1977, and the state bought it in 1978. Since then, crews have been trying to isolate the radioactive material there. The state says cleanup should be done by 2016, and the site will be monitored for the next 100 years. Over $30 million has been spent on the project. A major story that for us really for decades here. All right, WKYT this morning just getting started. So good to have you with us here on this Monday morning.
One of the rarest computers in the world, it was nearly sold for spare parts. We'll have more on this rare find up next.
And your trip to Disney, it could get more expensive in future years. We'll tell you why. That's coming up in your consumer news.
Looking at those showers out and about, that'll keep those temperatures way down for today. And it's mainly just showers, but then we bring the thunderstorms in here later on. I'll show you when you can expect that rainy forecast coming up.